All right, welcome back to the studio. We're back in the studio. A lot has changed. You know, it's now January, and the last kind of update, we were talking about new things, but there's enough that's changed within the flow and equipment to do an update. Also, there's been some visitors, so I just want to do a general update to the art/production studio.
Welcome.
But first things first, Anna and her husband came to the studio, who are awesome Patreon followers, really cool, and they brought me a painting that was sent around the different Patreon homies, and they painted it. It was based on this character, Mr. Cuppy. So she came over, gifted to me, they hung out, and so that was really great. Even though that was like 3 months ago, I wanted to put this footage in. Anna's an awesome artist also. She has a YouTube channel. It'll be linked. Go check her out. It was really nice. It was really kind. We have an awesome community on Patreon. So the majority of what has changed in the studio is sort of like infrastructure, but also production. Let's walk over here, Chris. Actually, no, let's look at this. We got a bunch of new shelves because there's so much camera equipment within like a production studio, especially if you're doing video, photo, lights. We have podcast equipment, a million miles of cords. Like, it's nice to have a section for it, and before it was just, there was no section. Everything was just everywhere. So now we kind of have cameras, batteries, you know, all of the cords in bins. So this is like the camera equipment shelf, which is really nice. Chargers plugged in. We got a labeler, but we have yet to label. So this is actually like a major upgrade to organize, especially if Chris and I are doing different things at different times. He has his equipment, you know, it's all just here in one location. So that's pretty important. And then that cleared up space, freed up more space over here, which is already storage, like you saw, like old wood, just big things that need to be stored. But this is now more like prop storage, which is really exciting because we get really weird in here, and I'm trying to collect a lot of props and costumes because we do figure drawing in the studio where we dress up models, but we also do awesome photo shoots, and it's just awesome to have things. So this is just, you know, we got wigs, we got a coat rack with costumes, things. It's just more organized with grab and go stuff, camera bags, more storage for costumes, and there's like Christmas equipment, just like things, you know, like as time has gone by, you know, you just collect more garbage, but it's wonderful garbage, and you need places to put it or else it gets too messy. And again, if Chris or one of his friends or someone else is using sort of the photo studio while I'm not here or I'm doing something else, it's all of these like located sections in the studio where things belong. So just organizational skills in general. So this is like one of the new bigger purchases also, this 48-inch softbox with a new light. So it's a way more powerful light with a huge softbox, which just is more soft light diffused. It's really bright. This was our old one, which still does work, and we use it all the time. This is like hardly 2 feet. So this is a massive upgrade. It's on a C-stand, so it can move around, but it's really great for specifically photos, or if you want to do product photography or other just random painting projects for videos. But this is now going to live here, and it's really great. We've already kind of set it up. This is our like flat white background with some rim light. It's really terrific. It's not super expensive. I think this whole setup, C-stand light, softbox was maybe like $600. So that's not crazy, but if you're just starting out for one light, that's kind of ridiculous. It's gonna be used so much, and it's just like really great. Also lighting, we have, this is I guess more Chris's equipment, but for the podcast studio, we have like a brand new setup also. So let's travel in there. So this, although it looks small, it is super powerful and sort of changes the whole flow of our podcast. So this is a switcher, and I don't really know much about it. I do. Chris is the guy behind it, but basically you connect all the cameras into here, and then you're able to live switch between the camera angles, and it records one giant clip through OBS, the streaming software, so that like you don't have to go back in and cut for every camera angle change. If you want a close-up, if you want the wide, now we have a Chris cam. So Chris does this live switching, which we'll give some examples.
So now we are all set up. This is A-Cam, this is Julio Cam, this is SLEW Cam, this is me Cam. And it is 11:45. We have 15 minutes until Julio arrives.
And a lot of these clips that you're probably seeing is of Chris. Chris is now vlogging, which is great. So you subscribe to him on his channel. It's really great. So this is just like a massive thing. And so when Chris got this, because he does another podcast, we added 2 more camera angles. So we have a camera angle for me, a camera angle for the guest. We shoot one wide for both of us, and then Chris now has an angle for him also.
Remember that song? Uh-oh, I want some more. Uh-oh,
yeah.
What are you waiting for?
Oh, yeah.
I'm in that music video.
Good job, string quartet here. That's why there's this light above, which is really great, just for more light, because again, cameras want light. Cameras need light. So I had this softbox for 5 years, literally my first studio, just laying in the corner. The fan was all busted. I opened it up, fixed the fan, perfect amount of light for Chris. So that's like a huge deal. And although this is expensive, this switcher, and adding a camera is expensive, it actually makes the flow of the podcast, it raises the production quality, but also makes Chris's workflow arguably way easier. So that's kind of cool how that works. You kind of take 1 step back and then 3 steps forward in terms of buying things, investing in equipment, and then the quality and production. So that's pretty great. Also, Chris, look this is where Mr. Cuppy is. This is the Patreon painting of Mr. Cuppy. Lives here in the podcast room. Beautiful, in front of everything. That's my prized possession. All right, so also not much has changed with the painting area. It's still kind of the same, except I did build this really sexy like French cleat shelf in the last video, which has actually been super useful. I've been using it like every time I paint now to kind of hold my iPad. Nothing has changed here much other than I'm gonna start doing really big projects, and my next big project is going to be on this absolutely incredible canvas. And I'm not gonna tell you what it is yet. I think I've been teasing it on Patreon. It's been in the works for like a year. It's just so crazy how I've not started. I've also been working on my sketchbook. Maybe Chris, you can zoom in a little. These are just like oil painting sketches, quick ideas, but they're really great. And if I get like 3 or 4, I'm gonna make just a nice video about, sketching with paint, which is kind of like a weird concept. So those are pretty big upgrades. And I don't know if you have been following building the studio and when it was started, it's all an iterative modular process of slowly, putting things in that you think will work and will be functional, and then using it, incorporating people who also use the studio, how it will help them, and then changing things to make it even better. So I feel like this is a good example of that in terms of the more production side, which this video was focused on. But I feel like we're in the stride now, and it's really great, and especially with the podcast. But so that's that, and it's really exciting. So that's the update. And yeah, check out Chris's channel, follow the SLEWNIVERSE Podcast. That's it. See you in the next video.